Hello again. This time we're going to talk about Module 2, Career Skills. This is a section that's pretty much important as to why you came to college, gain new careers. Let's start out by looking at what happened back in 2012 relative to making new majors. We had to create learning goals and learning outcomes for all new courses and all new majors, because in 2012 everything that was under the quarter system had to be replaced by the semester system. And so in order to create courses and in order to create majors, what had to be done is every department was tasked with the idea of what do you want your students to learn, or what do you want your students to know? Well, that's a big goal in terms of everything that's out there. Well, we can't teach them everything. And so we tried to focus on what can we do in smaller increments, called courses, obviously, that will allow them to build upon their learning and progress through a curriculum, also including general education requirements, including math and natural sciences. And so there's more than just the major, and other departments were, of course, in charge of those areas. When you see an assignment in a class, any class, this class and other classes, the goal of that assignment is to cause you to, one, be prepared, obviously, to complete the assignment, but then to provide information or evidence that indicates, I know this stuff, or I observed this lab experiment and I'm documenting what I observed, and then now I draw conclusions or I make recommendations. And so that assignments are really the heart of how we do assessment. We can have lectures and we can have websites and we can have videos and we can have PowerPoints, but it's that assessment that then comes along and indicates, so what do you know? Show me what you know. It starts out with learning goals. Learning goals are broad statements. And so in this case, knowledge, a very frequently used learning goal by every department, indicates a demonstration of the depth of knowledge and an ability to apply the methods of inquiry within the chosen discipline, demonstrating a breadth of knowledge across varied disciplines. Or another one, communications, a demonstration of the ability to communicate clearly and effectively. Critical thinking, academic and professional integrity, and diversity, these were the important program learning goals within our college, as well as among our different departments. Now, those were general statements. If we have a more specific statement in the knowledge area related to concepts or content, knowledge and information, history, skills, technologies, and theories, we would say a person is gaining content knowledge. In the area of communications, an assignment that requires you to prepare something that is written, verbal, graphic, or electronic, those are evidence of what that learning goal, communications, is being implemented as a learning outcome. So if you write a report and submit a written report, the evidence of what you know is contained in that report, and therefore it's related to communications as a learning outcome that the department is providing to you as the way we work through the curriculum. This page also contains links to all the departmental learning goals and outcomes across the college. So let's look closer to home at Horton Crop Science. Horton Crop Science learning goals and outcomes we have two majors, and so the SPS as well as the PGM each have similar but not identical learning goals and outcomes. So think of the first item here, be competent in critical thinking and research, as the learning goal. The outcome can be evidenced by acquire information and or data. So if you're thinking about doing research and you acquire information, that would be data gathering phase. Then you analyze information and or data, and that would be the analysis stage. And then you interpret information and or data, and that would be where you draw conclusions and make generalizations. And so within SPS Learning Goal, we have a learning goal number 1 and 3 outcomes 1, 2, 3. So when assignments are prepared in courses, this is what's underlying the reason for creating an assignment and how the student is being asked to work that assignment, and then what they demonstrate through their delivery of a product. PGM learning goals: be competent in critical thinking and research, collect data information, analyze data information. Similar to SPS, not exactly the same. And so these goals and outcomes are general guidelines that are used to construct course materials and then assessments or assignments to determine, and then grades are applied to determine how well you mastered the material. So that's common. That's what's going on and has been going on in colleges and universities for hundreds of years. Learning goals and learning outcomes. We don't talk about it a lot. We've been talking about it more since at Ohio State we switched to semesters in 2012. The important thing why we've been doing this is that accreditation is the standard by which all universities are looking to achieve. We've been approved. Ohio State was accredited in 2017, this spring, for another 10 years. You get accredited for 10-year increments. And we've started on building the accreditation report for the next 20 years, for the next 10 years after that. Now, how does that relate to portfolios? And so what we've done is we've talked about knowledge, and we've talked about communications, and we've talked about critical thinking and problem solving. But that's not the only thing that we do in class or outside of class or on the job. There will be times when we are demonstrating critical thinking and problem solving on the job. I have an assignment for you. I want you to prepare a report that analyzes our product sales and returns against those of the competitors. Okay, I get started on that right away. Well, now I got to think about it. How am I going to do that? Well, that's a critical thinking stage, followed by problem solving stage, which is, okay, so we're going to gather some data, we're going to visit websites, we're going to look at published reports, we're going to look at our own sales and returns data. How we work through that is the problem solving stage. Was there a course for that? Well, some courses relate to that topic of critical thinking and problem solving pretty straightforward. For example, a lab course in which there's a lab experiment, in which there is observation and hypotheses and data gathering and analysis. That's all related to critical thinking and problem solving. Is there a report coming out of that? Well, oral, written, and I always add visual communications as a third leg of the communications career skill. That if a report is being written, there's obviously a written communications product as part of that project. This is what NACE came up with. NACE defined the career readiness skills with these terminologies. NACE is the professional organization representing the National Association of Colleges and Employers. And so in preparing this definition of career readiness and competencies, NACE says career readiness is the attainment and demonstration of requisite competencies that broadly prepare college graduates for a successful transition into the workplace. In summary, what do you need to know? What do you need to know to be successful? What do you need to know to get started? What do you need to know at the beginning level, the intermediate level, the advanced level? Knowledge and learning, we've been studying this for centuries. It doesn't mean we have it all worked out, but we do have a lot of practical solutions to the problem. And so NACE defines career readiness skills with critical thinking, problem solving, oral, written, visual communications, teamwork, collaboration, information technology application, leadership, professionalism, work ethic, and career management. Now, details about the research and developing that list of career skills I'm going to talk about in a minute. But what I want you to do next is to check these career competencies for yourself. Look at, I've added half a dozen YouTube videos here. They're all short. The first one is an overview video of the 7 competencies. And then that's followed by individual videos on professionalism, work ethic, critical thinking and problem solving, career readiness, oral written communications, teamwork, collaboration, information technology, leadership, career management. Now, coming to college and getting a degree is very helpful in terms of your career preparation. It's necessary for most professional positions nowadays. But the idea of these career competencies, this is taking what we started with in terms of our portfolio profile. And now what we're doing is we're starting the transition to creating work samples. And a work sample is evidence. A work sample is a story about an accomplishment that you earned at work, that you were successful in meeting a goal, and telling the story, but using the linkage of skills. And so while we have courses and transcripts on the academic side, we have skills and experiences on the work side. We also have some skills and experiences on the academic side in terms of club activities, in terms of volunteer work, in terms of part-time work. You're learning a lot in all 3 areas: academic, outside of academics, as well as in the professional workplace. So check out each of these, because these will start to become the platform that we're going to be using, the terminology that we'll be using in our portfolio work samples. Okay. Next item then, how important are these? And so in terms of what employers told NACE with the survey of these professional skills, the number 1 item, the number 1 career readiness competency identified as absolutely essential or essential is professionalism, work ethic. Not weed ID, not plant ID, not something about photosynthesis. Those aren't part of the question. I'm not saying they aren't very important knowledge. I'm just saying they're not part of the question. The question about professionalism and work ethic gets at what type of an employee are you, what type of an employee will you become, and what type of company do we want to base our employee hiring decisions around. So professionalism, work ethic. 97.5% of all employers rate it as absolutely essential. Now, what goes into professionalism and work ethic? That's why I wanted you to watch the video. Start to get an introduction to each one of these topics. Critical thinking, problem solving, rated by 96.3% of all employers. Solving problems, thinking critically and able to solve a problem, second most important skill. Oral written communications, and like I said, I would add visual element to that, 91%. Teamwork, collaboration, we're all working in teams. 90% of employers feel that that's critical. Information technology application, 72%. Notice we're dropping down almost 20 points here. The story that I've provided in terms of the video isn't exactly what I want to share. The information technology application career readiness skill relates to utilizing the appropriate technology at the appropriate time to solve a problem at hand. It doesn't mean a career in IT necessarily. And that's most of the videos that I could find were always about the careers in IT. Well, IT is a category of job employment, but information technology application means, is there a mobile app that I can use while I'm away from my office to achieve things that are necessary and appropriate for the problem at hand? And so maybe it's an app about record keeping, doing my expense reports, and I can use that app to tally up my gas and mileage and hotel bill. It's not a sophisticated solution. It's not a payroll mainframe system, but it's applying the appropriate technology at the appropriate time. So followed by leadership, 55.9%, and then career management. This is being prepared and looking forward into the career future that you're setting out for yourself. Continuing education, very important here in terms of this kind of a skill. How do I learn new skills? It's not just waiting for someone to teach you a new idea. So NACE defines the career readiness competencies and supports those categories with this data from their survey. When I started working with Portfolium, they shared this document with me. It's a very nice PDF file, and it's going to be very helpful to us partway through the document. We get to this section here, worksheet, translating competencies into work samples. So the assignment that's coming up is going to relate to your courses that you identified in your profile. I started this overview talking about the course revision process for semester conversion and creating new majors based on learning goals, learning outcomes. Then I looked at the specific HCS, SPS, and PGM learning goals and learning outcomes. You're familiar with assignments that you've been given in classes that you've completed. So what we want to do is we want to move assignments over into the category of career skills. And so in this section, number one item here, critical thinking, problem solving, a work sample that an employer could would say that's an example of critical thinking might be a capstone project, might be a challenge of some sort, team challenge, individual challenge, a hackathon, labs and experiments, code samples, writing samples, all are indicators, all are related to critical thinking problem solving. We do a lot of critical thinking and problem solving in course assignments. Another big category, oral written communications, and add visual in there as well, or when you think about it, writing samples, reports, research, term papers, presentations, debates, and public speaking activities. These are all part of oral written communications. Teamwork and collaboration, group projects, club activities and events, extracurricular activities, sports, and athletic competition. Information technology application, multidisciplinary projects, social media activity samples, presentations, whether it's Prezi, PowerPoint, Sway, PDF. Leadership, club leadership roles, team projects, event and activity planning, public speaking. Professionalism, work ethic, writing samples, examples of public speaking, multiple projects, club activity, and extracurricular activities. And lastly, career management, professional intro that tells story of academic career. So what we're going for here, hopefully, is an introduction to the topic of setting goals, learning goals and outcomes, creating courses, and translating those into work samples that then can be tagged with a particular skill. And that's the skill, that's what the portfolio is based around, having these skills or demonstrating these skills for employers. This last couple of resources then are alternative ways to see and or think about the career readiness idea. Are you career ready? And it's a picture. And so in the topic of career management, identify and articulate skills, strengths, knowledge, and experiences. Navigate career options and pursue these options. And so it's another set of words, professionalism, work ethic, that just help to explain the topic, the NACE career skill, from a little different perspective. So professionalism, work ethic, remember that's our number one skill. Demonstrate personal accountability and effective work habits, punctuality, working productively with others, time management, understanding the importance of a professional work image, and demonstrating integrity. Those are additional ways to think about what, how you will prove that you have an excellent professionalism and work ethic career skill. The co-curricular competencies, I share this with you. This is a project that's been underway at Ohio State for several years. It's related to the career skills. It's also related to club activities and on-campus experiences. So it's an Ohio State proposal that relates to further developing what are generically called soft skills. The career readiness skills are also thought of as soft skills. Content in courses is content knowledge. We don't call them hard skills, but separating the soft skills side, leadership, professionalism, from the content in courses. This is an interesting resource, Buckeye on Pace. This is available on campus. This is a program that provides learning modules, self-study learning modules, learning about yourself, all the way up through going to considering graduate school, writing your resume and interviewing, brush up on your dining etiquette. So if you go out for an interview and there's a meal involved, how are you going to do it? Communicate as a professional, create your personal branding, transitioning to the workplace, considering graduate school, understanding diversity in the workplace. And so these career skills, if I look at the home tab, brought to you by On Pace. And On Pace is a series of self-guided career modules that can assist you in learning more about yourself and choosing a major, applying to grad school, and preparing to enter the workforce as a responsible citizen. It's a great resource. There's many different topics here, some of which you might want to sign up for. And lastly, career readiness resources, sample materials, assessment, practices, research, acknowledgments on this whole topic of career readiness. NACE has not done this and just come out with with a problem and saying, here's the only solution. They've done a lot of research in this area. I'm going to stop there and then talk about the upcoming assignment next. Thank you very much.